Ruben Amorim reportedly wants to bring Sporting Lisbon superstar Gyökeres and Álvaro Fernandez back to Manchester United as his first two signings. Ruud van Nistelrooy addresses the potential of him staying on as assistant manager, plus all of the latest on when Ruben Amorim will be starting his job. These are some of the topics we will be discussing on this morning's show. But before we jump into that, please do me a small favour, smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 500 likes on this episode. If this is also your first time watching today, make sure you subscribe. Live every single day. Very close to 40,000 now, so make sure you go and do that if you haven't already. Right, let's start the show off by talking a little bit about what we know on Ruben Amorim, when he's going to start his work, all the rest of it. So Fabrizio Romano has just come out saying that apparently the paperwork for Ruben Amorim's move to Manchester United is now underway. He says Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon have prepared all the documents for Ruben Amorim's move, which will be sealed in the next few days. Apparently, we should get an official announcement tonight. So for anybody unaware, Sporting Lisbon have got a Portuguese league game this evening, and the anticipation from the media is that after tonight's game, it will be officially announced. We know it's pretty much been announced already, but the club will put out a statement saying that that he's going to move to Manchester United. Now, in relation to when he'll start, it won't be for the Chelsea game. It's going to be for the Ipswich Town game, which I believe is on the 24th of November. So I think there's 3 more games between then and now. So yeah, that's good. 1 second. Give me a second, everyone. Yeah, who is it? Okay, are you there now? I'm just on another call at the moment. Is it alright to call you back? Alright, I'll give you a call back in about 20 minutes, half an hour. Or give me a call back when you're there, alright? Cheers. Sorry about that. So yeah, he's going to start for the game against Ipswich Town, which is on the 24th of November. Obviously, that means he'll have the full international break to get settled in Manchester. Obviously, he's going to have to find a house. He's going to have to move his family over there. There's lots of stuff that needs to happen. You know, it's not as simple as just packing a bag and coming to Manchester. And I think that the way that this has been handled is actually very good. I'm not sure if good's the right word. It's very amicable for everybody. I think it's very fair for Sporting Lisbon. And I think for Manchester United, it makes a lot more sense to bring him in slowly, opposed to, him playing a game tonight, or not playing, him managing a game tonight for Sporting Lisbon, and then on Sunday, him managing his first game against Chelsea. That is too soon. There'd be no training session. There's no way he'd be able to implement his tactics. There's no way he'd be able to try out formations and stuff. And I think it would just be a recipe for disaster. So yeah, Ruud van Nistelrooy will manage the next 3 games, which I'm happy with. I think, it's great for Ruud van Nistelrooy to, to be having the opportunity to get some more experience under his belt. But in relation to Ruud van Nistelrooy, I want you to let me know in the comment section, should Manchester United keep Ruud van Nistelrooy as the assistant manager? I'd love to know what you guys think about this one. It's a very... I wouldn't say controversial, but I think everyone has an opinion on it. I'm going to do a little poll on this right now. Give me 1 second. Should United keep Amorim as... Should Manchester United keep Amorim as assistant manager? There we go. You can go and get involved there. So either get in the comment section, or you can vote in the poll. So either one of those two options you can go and do right now. In my opinion, I think if Ruben Amorim wants Ruud van Nistelrooy to stay, then we should definitely keep him. Ruud van Nistelrooy did have an interview yesterday, obviously because he is technically the manager at the moment. He spoke to the press yesterday ahead of Manchester United's game against Chelsea on Sunday, and he was asked about whether he's going to be staying on as the assistant manager. And I will bring you the quote right now because it was quite interesting what Ruud van Nistelrooy said. I mean, what I will say is this. He has to be very careful about what he says because at the end of the day, he has a contract, right? And this is what Ruud van Nistelrooy says. He says, I have a contract and it is my desire to help the club. So I can give you my feelings, and after that, When the new manager signs, we will have to see how it goes. He says, I want to help. The club is in a difficult situation and it is not where we all want to be. It is a challenge, but that is why I'm here. He then says that once Ruben Amorim joins, he'll go back to his assistant manager role. So it's his understanding that he will become the assistant manager. But if you listen to the press conference and you heard how he spoke about it, I think he was more kind of saying it from a legality perspective where, to his knowledge, he's going to be the assistant. He has a contract for 2 years that says he'll be the assistant manager of Manchester United, right? So if he then comes out and says, oh, I don't know, blah, 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 like it kind of weakens his position. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to be up to Ruben Amorim, really, to decide whether he wants him as the assistant. I don't know what the right answer is. I have no idea whether they know each other. I have no idea whether they've even ever spoke to each other before. I like Ruud van Nistelrooy. I think he's a good person to have around the club. If Ruben Amorim doesn't want him as the assistant and Ruud van Nistelrooy is happy to stay in some capacity as a striker coach, maybe, I'd be happy with that. But what I don't want is Ruud van Nistelrooy to be forced on Ruben Amorim, where they say you have to have him. And then in a couple of months, it all comes out that, do you know what I mean? Like, it needs to be a fresh start. But in all fairness, Ruud van Nistelrooy's only been here for like 6 to 8 weeks. Rene Haak will definitely leave. There's no way he's going to stay, I don't think. We've heard nothing about Rene Haak, have we? And the fact that Ruud van Nistelrooy was given the managerial job on the interim kind of sums it up for me. He's clearly the one that they value the most, and Rene Haak is just like another coach, really. So our anticipation is that Rene Haak will leave, but I've put, should United keep Amorim as the assistant manager? I've done the question wrong. Let me do the poll again. So it should be, should United keep Ruud as assistant manager? There you go. So go and do that. But I would be more than happy for him to stay. More than happy. But I think it all just depends on what Ruben Amorim's vision is. How many of his team is he bringing with him? That's the thing, And it also depends on what other options Ruud van Nistelrooy has out there. If another top club comes in for him, the managerial market will probably start moving quite quickly at this time of year. As it gets towards Christmas, there is always sackings in the winter window, isn't there? In January, around Christmas, there's always teams sacking their manager. And I think Ruud van Nistelrooy at the moment is putting himself in prime position. He's putting himself in prime position to go and get a top job. So, yeah, I wish Ruud van Nistelrooy all the best. If he wants to stay, I think he's welcome. But it has to be a mutual agreement between the club, Ruben Amorim, and Ruud van Nistelrooy. I don't want it to be forced on him. But you can let me know your thoughts on that one in the comment section. Andrew says, I would love to see Ruud van Nistelrooy go and manage another club and then return to manage Manchester United in the future. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. What else have we got? Andrew says that apparently United are signing the assistant manager from Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, I did read that this morning. That apparently Man United are going to get all the coaches from Sporting Lisbon as well, and the assistant managers and the performance analysts and all of that stuff. So, yeah, it doesn't look particularly good for Ruud van Nistelrooy, does it? If Man United are paying money to Sporting Lisbon so they can get their coaches, why would they keep Ruud van Nistelrooy as well? But at the same time, they're going to obviously have to give Ruud van Nistelrooy compensation. So maybe they say, if you're happy to be the striker coach, that would be great to have you. It would be great to have your experience around the training field and, your knowledge of the club and all the rest of it. We'll wait and see what happens. I think, for me, Rene Haak, this might sound harsh, but I think he's disposable, to be honest. I don't think there's any reason to keep Rene Haak. Whereas with Ruud van Nistelrooy, there are lots of reasons to keep Ruud van Nistelrooy, just the fact that he knows the club, his relationship with the fans, he knows the players a bit already, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas Rene Haak, does anybody have any emotional attachment to Rene Haak? There might be somebody in the chat who does, but I'd be very surprised. Melchet says, Ruben Amorim is set to bring in 3 coaches, 2 assistants, and a goalkeeper coach. Yeah, I did see that. So, it's probably unlikely, isn't it, that Ruud van Nistelrooy will want to stay as like a backup assistant manager. He's effectively getting demoted, isn't he? But the reason I brought it into the show was obviously in this press conference he did yesterday, he did say that he'd be happy to stay in any capacity, which to me sounds like what? A striker coach, but at the same time, he might just be saying that so from a legality perspective, he has a contract with Manchester United. You know, if he turns around and says, "Oh, I'm going to leave if I lose my assistant manager job," then he probably waivers his rights to any compensation. You know, if he actively decides to leave himself. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with that one. I don't think Ruud van Nistelrooy will struggle to get another club, to be honest. I think there's plenty of teams out there who would be looking at Ruud van Nistelrooy. But let's move on from that and let's move over to Álvaro Fernández, the very talented young left-back. And the headline this morning is that Ruben Amorim's imminent arrival at Manchester United looks like Manchester United will now go in for Álvaro Fernández in the January transfer window. And I would welcome this 100%. Obviously, Álvaro Fernández has gone to Benfica. He's done really, really well. Manchester United have a buyback clause, and Álvaro Fernández said recently that his dream is to go back to Manchester United. Now, is it too soon for him? Maybe, but Benfica are obviously a better club than Manchester United at the moment from a footballing perspective, and he plays every single week for Benfica. He's 21 years of age. I don't think it's too soon for me personally. I mean, we have no left back, so we have this option here to bring back Álvaro Fernández for a relatively small fee. It's around £16 million, which is still a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But, you know, if he turns out into a world-class left-back in the future, I don't think it will be that bad if we pay £16 million for him. So, yeah, £16 million is the buyback clause in the contract with Benfica. So we can bring him back. We can trigger that in January. There is nothing that they can do to stop that. It's, you know, he has to come back. And it looks like because of Ruben Amorim joining Manchester United, they will then trigger that clause and bring him back, which I 100% welcome. I think the future for Manchester United, for me, is Harry Amas and Álvaro Fernández. Those two as kind of left wing backs. There is obviously some talks of us going for Alphonso Davies, which I think would be a really interesting option. Will he come to Manchester United? I would probably say no. Because we know that he has his heart set on Real Madrid. So we've got to be realistic. You know, I would love to see Alphonso Davies at Manchester United, but will he come? Probably not. So yeah, this is probably a more safer option. Bring back Álvaro Fernández, give Harry Amas some more game time, and kind of see how it goes from there. Let's have a look at Álvaro Fernández's stats so far this season. So we sold him for €6 million. Do you know what's interesting as well? There was a report that came out yesterday saying that apparently the reason Álvaro Fernández left in the summer was because Erik ten Hag specifically said that Man United should sell him. So that's a massive blunder, I think, on Erik ten Hag's part. I think the thing with Erik ten Hag, his stance was always like, if he doesn't think they're good enough, he just gets rid of them, which I guess is good for the player. But then if the players turn out to be good, then it's difficult, isn't it? But yeah, Álvaro Fernández has played all 8 of Benfica's Portuguese league matches, and they're sat third in the table at the moment. He's played literally every single minute for them. He's also played in the Champions League 3 times. Like he's had a lot of experience already so far this season. So yeah, for me, I would definitely bring him back. But it'd be interesting to see what you guys all think. Somebody in the chat says, what do you think about Erik ten Hag replacing Company at Bayern? I'm not sure about that. Erik ten Hag will get another job, 100%. Very soon, I reckon. All right, like Erik ten Hag at Bayern Munich would probably do really well because he's obviously worked there before, hasn't he? As the assistant manager. Sorry, not the assistant manager. He managed the under-21s, didn't he? But yeah, so just to summarise that bit of the section, £16 million for Álvaro Fernández in the January transfer window, 100%. Let's do that. Let's get it done. Let's move over from him, though, and let's talk about Gyökeres. I hope I've said his name wrong. I just said I hope I've said his name wrong. I hope I've said his name right. Gyökeres. Apparently Manchester United are looking at signing him as well now. He's available for around 60 to 70 million euros. Arsenal want him as well. There's a lot of interest in this guy. And, you know, rightly so. He's been absolutely tearing it up this season. He was unbelievable last season. And I said this in the summer. I still think we need another striker. And that was even when I thought Joshua Zirkzee was going to be a striker for us. Like, Højlund, for me, has the potential, but I think they're having to manage his minutes quite a lot for his age. You know, he only plays 60 minutes of a game, or he'll come on as a sub. he doesn't seem to be able to play every single minute of every game, Rasmus Højlund, and that must be because of the injuries that he's had in the past and them knowing that they have to manage him well. And I think we need to strengthen that area massively, to be honest. I think our attacking line is weak. I know we scored 5 goals against Leicester, but that was Leicester's B team. And let's be honest, Casemiro's goal was a wonder goal. Bruno Fernandez scored a deflection. Garnacho's first goal was, I think, offside. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yes, we scored 5 goals against Leicester's B team, but any other day of the week, Casemiro hits that ball over the bar. And we had all of the luck go our way that game. So the 5 goals, I think, flattered us a little bit. And I still think we desperately need another attacking player to strengthen our forward line, because at the moment, I don't see where the goals are going to come from, So yeah, Gyökeres available for around 60, 70 million euros. Apparently he is very upset that Ruben Amorim is leaving Sporting Lisbon. He only stayed in the summer because Ruben Amorim was staying as well. That was widely reported. And the reports this morning are saying that apparently he is absolutely devastated that Ruben Amorim is leaving Sporting Lisbon. So I think he'll definitely leave in the January transfer window. Whether that will be to Manchester United, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Arsenal are circling for his signature as well. But in relation to the stats, he scored 16 goals and got 4 assists so far this season in only 15 games. So 20 goals and assists in 15 matches, 2 in the Champions League, 12 in the Portuguese league. I mean, he's been absolutely spectacular. His goal record at the moment is a goal every 79 minutes that he plays. And that includes Champions League football, before people are like, oh, the Portuguese league isn't very good. He's scoring in the Champions League as well. So, yeah, he's a very, very good player. And if you look at his stats for last season, they were absolutely spectacular. 58 goals and assists in 50 matches. Unbelievable. Scoring 5 times in the Europa League, 29 times in the Portuguese league. Quality player. 26 years of age. He's in his prime. He's ready to go. I would love to see him at Manchester United. From what I've seen of him, he looks quality. He scored 2 goals for Sporting Lisbon in the game on Wednesday against Nacional, which I watched because I was like, I've got to see what Ruben Amorim's teams are like. But yeah, so I'd be up for this. Whether or not we'll be able to beat other teams to him is another matter. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. As well, if anybody's interested, Sporting Lisbon play football tonight at 8:15 p.m. UK time. So, if you've got nothing to do tonight and you want to go and watch Sporting Lisbon, then I'll probably be doing that, I reckon. Actually, no, I'm going out tonight, so I won't be doing that. But I'll be watching the highlights, definitely. 8:15. And so obviously as well, Sporting Lisbon play Man City on Tuesday in the Champions League. So that'll be an interesting game to see. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Just a quick one. Everyone who's just joined, if you could do me a favour and smash a like, that'd be really, really appreciated. Let's try and get to 500 likes on this video. And if this is your first time watching, please also make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. I've just dropped a link into the chat to do that. We are on the homeward run towards 40,000 subscribers. So go and do that right now if you haven't already. Right, let's see what else we had planned for the show this morning. We spoke about Ruben Amorim, obviously. Spoke about Álvaro Fernández. Spoke about Gyökeres. Just seeing if there's anything else that we've got for this show. Obviously, we've got a massive game on Sunday against Chelsea. I'd be interested to know your score predictions for that game, actually. How do you see that game going? I actually think we're going to beat Chelsea on Sunday. I think we're going to go on a bit of a run now. I think the mood's just completely changed. I think whether that's Erik ten Hag's fault or not is up for debate. But I think the fact of the matter is, the mood has definitely shifted, hasn't it? In the fan base, you can see it. Like, everybody in the chat is happy. I think the players look a little bit more confident again. And sometimes it does just take sacking a manager to build the confidence again. And I know some people will say, why did they not do that last week against West Ham? Why did they not do that against Crystal Palace? Why did they not do that against Fenerbahce? And I would agree with you there. But what I would say is, we know that a lot of these players have a weak mentality. We know that a lot of these players aren't world class, and they haven't really got that much experience. I know there's some exceptions. You've obviously got Casemiro. You've got Johnny Evans, who's obviously won the Premier League. You've got, Martinez, who's won the World Cup. But some of the other players we've got, I mean, even Bruno Fernandez, he's the club captain of Manchester United. If you actually look at his trophy cabinet, he's not really ever won anything, to be honest. Like, he's won the FA Cup. He's won, I think, the Portuguese League once, maybe. Yeah, he's won the Portuguese League once, the FA Cup, the League Cup, and that's kind of it. and he's 30, you know? I mean, I don't think most people say the League Cup is a major trophy, do you? So really, our captain, the captain of Manchester United, has only won 2 notable trophies and he's 30 years of age, and that's the FA Cup and the Portuguese League once. So the point I'm making here is, unfortunately, it seems that sacking a manager was what was needed to bring that confidence and those smiles and that positivity back to these players. And I think some of the maybe seasoned professionals, maybe we would have got more out of. But, we always have these conversations about where we discuss the mentality of our players and that they're a bit weak-minded and that, as soon as we concede a goal, their heads drop. But that's been going on for years and years and years and years. But just to go back to the original point, I think this game against Chelsea, I reckon we're going to beat them. I have a strong feeling we're going to beat them. I think the confidence is there. These players know now that they're playing for their future again. They know that Ruben Amorim will be watching against Chelsea and he'll be working out which of those players he wants to keep. Because remember, Ineos should allow Ruben Amorim to have a bit of a rebuild. He might come in and he might say, you know what? I don't know. He might come in and say, I don't like Marcus Rashford, or I don't like Mason Mount, or I don't know, whoever it might be, Christian Eriksen. He's going to come in and he's going to quickly identify which of the current players suit his system. So they're all effectively auditioning again. So it's going to be an interesting game, but I'm actually going to go with the Manchester United win. I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section. What's your score predictions for the Chelsea game? Obviously, Chelsea are in form at the moment. They're one of the best teams in the Premier League at the moment. But I think we do have some good players, and I do think that we have the ability to beat Chelsea. And if we did beat Chelsea, that would mean we're only 3 points behind them in the table. And it can quickly change then. I know at the moment it looks bleak. We're sat 14th, but we could easily jump into the top half of the table if we beat Chelsea this weekend. And then if we beat Leicester next weekend, we could easily be getting closer to top 4. And yeah, we can try and save the season. So let's try and stay positive. Let's get behind the team. Let's get behind Ruud van Nistelrooy. And let's hope that we can get a win. Let's hope that we can get a win. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you very much for joining me on the show this morning. Please make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. This has been Daily Red Devil. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll speak to you all on the next one. Bye for now.